Return of the Mount Hua Sect. Chapter 121. I'll show you what happens when you touch Mount Hua. Wei Soheng looked around with a puzzled face. These are the people of Mount Hua. It was common for subsects to keep the same disciple distribution as the main sect. In that sense, Wei Soheng could also be considered a third-class disciple. Until he arrived at Mount Hua, he thought that there would be nothing special about being a disciple of the main sect. However, seeing those gathered here, he could see how wrong his thoughts were. Every single one of them feels like the blade of a sword. Such a sharp essence. Now he seemed to understand why his father always emphasized Mount Hua's prestige. Despite being similar ages, there was a clear difference between them and him. There was dignity in each of their movements and the subtle taste of Taoism in each gaze. Even when eating, it wasn't easy to maintain an air of modesty while eating. That's why he believed the sect lived up to its prestige. Wei Soheng turned his gaze to the side. While everyone was eating in a well-mannered fashion, only one person in the corner was violently binging on his food. Chicken legs vanished into that man's mouth in an instant. It was impossible to understand just how he could clean the bones so well. Did he hear me? Even stranger was the fact that no one criticized the person for eating so loudly. Everyone simply acted as if that ravenous glutton in the corner didn't exist. Is that person really Mount Hua's divine dragon? Wei Soheng looked at Chungmyeong in disbelief. Of course, his appearance was fine. No, just looking at his appearance, the title suited him very well. The problem was that only his appearance was acceptable. Chungmyeong's personality lacked the majesty to match his glorious title. Were the rumors wrong? That was impossible. Rumors were typically more exaggerated than reality, but they couldn't be this time. The Jongnam sect wouldn't sit still if the rumors were exaggerated. The Jongnam sect's silence was evidence that this man's achievements were true. So he must be the person that beat up the Jongnam sect's second-class disciples. Wei Soheng scratched his head. Of course, each person had their own inclinations, but shouldn't there at least be a certain level of dignity that a warrior should maintain? However, Chungmyeong seemed to lack even the slightest poise of excellence befitting a warrior. If he was stripped of Mount Hua's uniform, then he could easily be mistaken for a common thug from the back alleys. Is it really okay to take that person with me? Just then, the door opened, and a man entered. Yunjong. Wei Soheng unconsciously sighed as he watched him approach. I'd rather believe that he's the divine dragon. Wei Soheng should have raised his hands and cheered for him. That man called Yunjong had everything Wei Soheng hoped for from Mount Hua's divine dragon. The refined bearing of a young disciple, the vigorous energy felt in his presence, and his soft yet relaxed expression. Wasn't this the ideal appearance that anyone would expect? But why did that guy have to be the divine dragon? Yunjong approached Chungmyeong and frowned. Wow, you're going to get a stomachache. Eat slowly. I'm trying to make up for the months I missed. Did you starve yourself for 3 months? Chungmyeong gulped down his food and drank a glass of cold water that was next to him. After putting the glass down, he patted his stomach and responded. I lived off those pills for 3 months straight. Now even the air tastes like those pills. Man, people should eat meat. I don't know how those Shaolin bastards survive on grass. We also used to live off grass just 2 years ago, you bastard. Well, it was Chungmyeong who changed that. So did you have any success? Success? Chungmyeong smiled. He just needed some time. Chungmyeong's martial arts were a bit different from his previous life. Since his foundation changed, the development built on that foundation must also take a different shape from the past. So he needed a little time to sort those things out without worrying about other matters. Did the training go well while I was away? Yunjong looked around with a sullen face. The resentful gazes of his sages fell on him. I thought there were still a few days left. Why did you bring that guy out? For 3 months, I got to live like a human. Those good old days are gone. Damn it. We should have blocked that cave with something stronger. Yunjong sighed deeply and said, Everyone trained hard. Huh? Is that so? As Yunjong started to get riled up, Yunjong decided to change the topic. That's not important now. The Hwayong sect is what's important. Ah, yes, those Wudang bastards. Chongmyung's face contorted. We need to break those bastards' heads. Sayoung, when do we leave? The sect leader told us to leave tomorrow morning. Tomorrow? That's earlier than he said. The situation there is probably urgent. If someone from the Udang sect has already departed, they might arrive soon. If we arrive too late, you won't be able to hit their heads, right? Right! So when you're done eating, go pack your bags. We need to leave as soon as possible. Okay. Chongmyung got up from his seat and went outside, and the third-class disciples around all let out a sigh of relief. I thought I was going to die. This isn't living, seriously. The back door to the cafeteria opened, and someone slightly poked their head inside. They briefly glanced around before quietly asking, Did he leave? Yes. Baeksang opened the door and walked inside. Behind him, 2 second-class disciples followed behind with gloomy faces. I can't even eat a single meal in peace. A single meal. I don't get it. There were a couple more days before he was supposed to come back. Why did he get out early? The peace is dead. I want to die. Watching this, Wei So-heng couldn't understand what was happening at all. He was about to burst from curiosity. What the hell is going on? From the looks of it, Chongmyung was the youngest of them all. The Sahyungs clearly understood that, but even the second-class disciples seemed uncomfortable with Chongmyung. I'd heard that the difference between junior and senior was very clear. Wei So-heng's shaky gaze met with Yoonjong. That was Yoonjong. Oh. Yoonjong looked at Wei So-heng and scratched his head. I wonder how this works. Yoonjong responded while looking at Wei So-heng with a strange look in his eyes. You don't have to try to understand, young warrior Wei. What? Because soon, you'll understand even if you don't want to. An unfamiliar sense of unease began to grow in Wei So-heng's chest. The next morning, Wei So-heng patiently waited to depart in front of the sect leader's residence. Beside him, both Yoonjong and Jogul were already waiting for the others to arrive, carrying additional luggage as well. He should be coming soon. There he is. Wei So-heng turned to where the others were looking. Ah! He exclaimed without realizing it. A man dressed in a white robe with the bearing of a hero was approaching them. Amazing! He couldn't think of any other word to describe him. Yoonjong gave off the refined atmosphere of an expert, but this man coming toward them felt different. It was like seeing a hero straight from a story. It was a bad habit to judge people by their appearance, but anyone who saw this man would feel the same way. Yoonjong bowed his head. Baekchun Sasuk, did you rest well? Baekchun, then he is the righteous sword of Hua? Baekchun? If Mount Hua's divine dragon was the most mysterious disciple in the sect, then the righteous sword of Hua was the most famous one. It was a story that everyone had heard. This man led his fellow disciples to clear out a horde of wicked bandits to save countless people. Didn't the people saved commend him for being eye candy? Indeed, he really looks like a hero. Baekchun approached them with a soft smile and said, Would you be able to rest peacefully if you were me? Baekchun's face distorted. Damn it, it's terrifying that he's back out again, and I need to go with him too. What the hell did I do to deserve this? Still, Sasuke can express your dissatisfaction. We're just stuck with it. Baekchun scratched his head. Even the sect leader is ignoring this. That's true. The three sighed together. I am Wei. Oh my god. When Wei So-heng began to hesitantly introduce himself, he suddenly found a person standing next to him, so he panicked and backed away. When? He couldn't feel anyone approaching, so how long was this person standing next to him? But alas, Wei So-heng was the only one surprised. The others didn't seem bothered at all. A woman! Wei So-heng observed the woman standing next to him and slightly dropped his jaw unconsciously. Beautiful! Wei So-heng could swear that he had never seen anyone as beautiful as her. A woman whose cold expression seemed to be coated in a layer of ice. Normally, that cold expression would reduce the original beauty, but it only seemed to amplify this woman's attractiveness. Same, did you bring your things? Yes, Sahyang. There is no need for Same to even come on this journey. I said I'd go. Well, Baekchun, who wanted to say something, just nodded and remained silent. Wei Soheng, who watched from the side, realized one thing. It might not be a sect with many people, but no one here is ordinary. Everyone seemed unique, but there was a reason he only realized it now, and that reason was currently trudging towards them from afar. You're early, aren't you? Chongmyung waved at the crowd as he approached. Everyone's expression became distorted except for Yu Yisol. Sleep a little more. Being late doesn't matter. Needlessly diligent. Chongmyung looked at the people gathered and tilted his head. Sasuk, you too? Baekchun answered with a shaky face. That's how it ended up. Well, Sasuk is fine. Chongmyung slightly frowned. Sago too? Yes. Seriously? Yes. As Chongmyung was about to continue, the door opened and Hyunjong came out. Everyone has gathered. Yes. Hyunjong came out and took Wei Soheng's hand. Young warrior Wei. Yes, sect leader. I know there are a lot of things you are worried about, but these children are trustworthy, so they will surely help you. Thank you, sect leader. Wei Soheng bowed his head. Even though the Hua Sect was connected to Mount Hua, he didn't think they would help this wholeheartedly. The warmth that Wei Soheng felt from the elder's hand made him want to cry. And Baekchun. Yes. Lead the children well. I believe in you. Yes. Yisol, Yunjong, and Jogul. Help Baekchun. Don't worry, sect leader. We will. Yes. Finally, Hyunjong looked at Chongmyung. Chongmyung. Yes. Please, don't create trouble. Well, I think the concept of trouble differs from person to person. Please. Alright. Thus, the second and third class disciples from Mount Hua began their journey to the Hua Sect.